Alright, back with another video. I was going to do this one earlier, but I had a feeling. I was like, no, she probably won't post another video, so let me just wait and I'll do it tonight. Every night I hope it's a little calmer. But I'm sure in a minute y'all will be hearing my baby. So yeah, let me get it started. A message to the people. We are in the kitchen today. Oh gosh, she just looks like she is just miserable. I hope she gets the help she needs.
Today is July 7th, 2022. I'm in my mom's kitchen. Don't mind if it's a little messy. I was the one that made the mess and I have to go clean it up. I did it yesterday. I'm starving this morning. But since I don't have anything to smoke, I refuse to eat now.
Okay, alrighty. So she refused to eat whenever she was locked up. And now she's like a big kid throwing a freaking temper tantrum. So since she doesn't have weed, she's not going to eat? Are you kidding me? Bro, like, what is she doing? Is she doing this, like, for her mom to cave in? I don't understand. Who is she having a fit for? For, like, her mom or brother to be like, here, fine, here's some stuff. Eat? I don't get her temper tantrums. It's so stupid.
Couple of the days that I had eaten a lot. I'd gotten up to 180 pounds. And now I'm dropping down to 176 this morning. So I refuse to eat. I don't see the problem in that. I'm not going to do this without smoking medicinal marijuana. I'm not going to be forced into having a child without having my proper medication. And since I can't finance that because the federal government deems it as a narcotic still, which is insane because you have opioids on there and people on
Okay, I don't understand. You can't say, I'm not going to do this if I don't. First of all, this is I'm not going to say my stance on weed, marijuana, cannabis, CBD, oils, vapes. I'm not in the mood to go into all that. But the way that she acts and talks about smoking would be like a scare to some people. Or, I mean, you would think she was on something hard. For you to throw a temper tantrum and not want to eat. I mean, You are able to eat. She wants to eat. She's hungry. She wants to eat. But she's having a temper tantrum. She's not going to eat because she's on strike. She wants her weed. That's weird. Okay, hang on. Get a shoe.
Why?
Oh my god. She was so excited to get set up her new bathroom. Oh, okay. And then the pregnancy. I'm not doing this pregnancy without my marijuana. Girl, you act like it's some type of, like, hard drug out there. Like, because you know how, like, there's people who are like, oh, you don't get addicted to weed, or it's not addicting, or you could stop when you want to, or, people have different stance on it. But the way she describes it is like, what are you taking? Like, for it to make you go this crazy and act like this. Like, this isn't. I don't know. I'm just going to be quiet. Someone, I don't know. I don't know who she's doing this for.
Opioid addictions that cause more problems, like Xanax and hydrocodone, and even alcoholism. Those cause more damage, and cigarette smoking causes more damage than medicinal marijuana. I shouldn't have to be reprimanded for all these things. I shouldn't have to be reprimanded for trying to survive. And just realized now too that they threw the book at me years ago when I had gone to jail, when I was incarcerated for having reached out to my ex-husband to want to see my child and explained to him that his actions were demonic, and the letters that they have, everything's on file. And if you go back and you look at it clearly through a psychological perspective, you understand that it's a woman pleading for her offspring, the offspring that she birthed, the offspring that she breastfed, the offspring that she coddled and took care of and doted on for 3.5 years. I'm clearly not in the wrong. I may have said some things, but never have I actually threatened anyone physically. Never. It's about the actions in conjunction with the words. And the fact that my ex-husband did all of these nefarious things, he shouldn't have custody of my child. He shouldn't have custody of her at all. Let's be completely honest with one another. What he had done was not protecting her. What he had done was placed her in even more danger. Because the more and more I end up snapping, the more and more I'm going to send people your way so that they can do the devil's work. So I don't have to get my hands dirty. Because they understand these demons on earth, the ones that walk around, they need something to look up to. They need something to do in order to compensate for what they've done in the past. And like I've clearly demanded, he should be dead, my ex-husband, for leaving me with 2 loaded guns and leaving everyone to believe that I was the one that was the issue, when in actuality I was suffering through plenty of marital abuse and neglect. And when he was off gallivanting, going to concerts, I was stuck at home breastfeeding our child. So you're not going to tell me that he deserved custody and that I deserved to not see her for the last 6 years when she'll be 10 years old this year. And then you forced another child upon me without a father. And you wanted to see how my reaction would be, right?
Okay, sorry. I didn't commentate, so I guess I need to pause it. I don't know what she was talking about, so. I had to step away. Hopefully, baby doesn't get upset. She just gets fussy sometimes. Not like fussy, but just kind of like whiny, I really hope she doesn't talk about. Well, she always talks about stuff that pisses me off. I know there's people saying, which, whenever things go on like this and more people get involved, stories start flying around and you don't really know who to believe or what to believe, or, where they got it from, where they heard it from, was it even legit, anything like that. But I know a few people have been hearing that supposedly she is not even pregnant. Supposedly that's what one of the police officers said. And like I said, I wouldn't even feel stupid if we found out she wasn't pregnant. I would be so relieved and happy and just be like, okay, good. Can you, tie her tubes while she's in the crazy house? I wouldn't even care. I would be so happy. I wish and pray that that is the case. Unfortunately, I think she is pregnant. I think that there's a chance that she's not, but I'm leaning more towards she is. There's just a couple of things that just don't add up, you know? It's just like how would the police officer know she was pregnant? She could have taken a test while she was incarcerated. I don't know if they do that. You know, they might check you to see if you're pregnant. What else? And then why would they tell people that? Unless there were so many phone calls and they were just getting aggravated and tired of it. But then I'm like, why would she pick now? Because supposedly the police officer was like, oh, she's been doing that. Okay, well, no, she really hasn't. She's only done it these past, 7, 8 months. So, I mean, I think if she has, claimed she was pregnant and she wasn't all this time, those old videos would have popped up by now. I wonder if I should go look. Because I haven't even looked. So I don't know. So it's like maybe, you just never know. It's like maybe it's a good cop and he's like tired of everyone worrying and he's like, she's not even pregnant. But then maybe he's a bad cop and he's like, I don't fucking care. She ain't pregnant. Everyone shut up. But she really is, And then sometimes her stomach would look, especially whenever she was in the car, but sometimes her stomach would look more, because sometimes I would see her and I'm like, yeah, she looks pregnant, It looked more round, like a ball, But then sometimes, like whenever she did that freaking lovely dance for us, it was weirdly shaped. And I'm not trying to like body shame or anything like that. I'm just saying and everybody's different. But I know whenever I was that far along, my stomach was definitely like round and tight. I know she had, lost weight. So I don't know if maybe that's different. I don't know. So now I don't know. I'm just gonna... But see, whenever I talked to the person, they didn't say anything about her not being pregnant. I think that would be the best scenario. Like, if we just found out this whole shit was a joke. But I doubt it.
It's rejection, because you rejected me. As a human being, I've been rejected. I've been ostracized and persecuted for the wrong reasons, for vocalizing my opinions. Not that I actually acted out on these things. Not that I actually fulfilled those demonic, curses that I placed upon other people. No, it's going to come back tenfold on them. That's how it works.
Wait, what is it? She said something about she didn't act upon it. Well, I mean, you still aren't supposed to be threatening people. And then she said that she curses people. Like, she did she cursed people. So, alright.
And the funny thing is people thought, oh, she can't believe in all these different aspects. If she believes in witchcraft, then she's part of the devil's cult. No, that's not true. Not at all.
Yeah, pretty much. I'm not saying, like, if you're a witch or you practice that you believe or you worship the devil, but you cannot be a practice following Christian and messing with witch and magic and all that crap. It's in the good book. I don't think you shouldn't even, especially if you go to Catholic school and church, I mean, you should know this. It's pretty obvious, but okay. But everyone, no, disclaimer. That is nothing that is forbidden if you were a follower of God.
Divination is a part of Christianity. And there are plenty of things that people understand. Me making contact with animals, that's not demonic. Not at all. I literally save things from dying. I have saved things from dying. And you're going to tell me that I'm clearly the one that's deranged? That I'm clearly the one that's in the wrong? Not anymore. I'm over it. I'm completely over it. I had a discussion with my mother this morning where she said, I went to every court proceeding for you when you were incarcerated for 2 months, and you went to a psychiatric hospital for a month in between, and they kept promising you a home. They kept promising you a bed here and there. And she said, I kept going to these proceedings. You've driven my mother crazy. You've driven my mother crazy in the sense of, like, she really thought that it was all me. She really thought because of the criminal record that
I just want to bring this up. I don't think a lot of people know, but there's because people are like, oh, you know, if you put her, you know, like on like if you do a welfare check or if you Baker Act or whatever, they call her for like 24, 72 hours, depending on her state. But that's different than actually going to like a mental hospital, I guess you could say, like behavioral med. I mean, I used to have to go deliver medicine to inside hospitals, and that's one part I would have to go inside of. And that was something I had to be trained and taught, and a lot of rules applied. I mean, you had to have a card in, and then open the door with that, and then another door with a card, and then, like, there's about 3 places where it should only be you or someone else who works there, so none of these people get out. And you have to, like, close every door behind you. It was crazy. And it was sad. I used to want to work there because it was like, there was like 3 floors, and I forgot, I think it was like the 3rd floor was like the really bad floor. Like, I remember seeing like someone pretty much getting tackled and had a shot of, what do they call it? Damn it, I forgot what they call it. It was some kind of cocktail, but it was like a few things in one syringe, and it was a shot, and it would immediately pretty much put them out. Damn, I wish I remember what that was called. And then like I think it was the middle floor. It was like the kids, and it was so sad. But I remember one time I was like, oh, like, I want to work here. Like, I want to be, like, their friend and everything. But then there was, like, one person I was like, oh, God, no. Never mind. It's sad. And then I forgot what the other one was. I don't know if it was, like, women's only. I don't know. But with all that being said, everybody there was there for, like, weeks, months. I mean, some of them maybe even years. Like, I don't know, but these people lived there. Like, they had a bed. Like, they lived there. And that's where I think she needs to go. And they are monitored 24/7. That's what she needs. She needs to find, like, the counselor and a doctor. She needs a couple of people and a priest. Can we get a counselor, a doctor, and a priest? Pray for her, put some holy water on her to diagnose her. I'm not a big fan of medication, but if you absolutely need it, take it. Um, and get through that trauma. It's sad because it's like she talks about God, but she really doesn't know him like she should. I don't know. It sucks. It sucks. It really sucks because sometimes like you just kind of forget this is like a real person, a real life situation, and it's like, why can't this have just been like a miracle and like turn herself around and do the hokey pokey? No, I'm just kidding. But it's not. It's not. She's still gonna be a piece of crap. So this is why she needs serious fucking help.
That I was compiling due to your misguided efforts, your misinformed data, that you've driven her mad. You've driven her to the point where she doesn't even get out of her pajamas most days because she doesn't know how to deal with the world because her children are constantly being harassed by the authorities.
Hey, sorry. Some days I don't want to get out of my pajamas. It's just how it is. It's don't be blaming everybody for that. Maybe she wants to be in her pajamas. It's more comfortable, especially if she ain't going nowhere.
And she doesn't understand why either, because majority of the time I was always very law-abiding. I made sure to, keep things on the up and up in that way, to make sure that I didn't have anything trailing behind me that I might need to seek repentance for, seek some type of forgiveness for, because my Catholicism had me to the point of not necessarily fear from God, but
usually bras fit small-chested women.
Back with the odds. I feel like I jinxed us. Yesterday I was like, there's no ads.
Shifting, not being able to...
But love in that way, understanding what true love is, and that is repentance, that is people that make amends with what they've done wrong and stop living in denial. So even like through psychology, I understood this, and science, and some people were saying, oh, that's the devil. It is not the devil to understand yourself. It's not the devil to understand others. It's not the devil to read minds in that way. Because throughout my life, I kept everything to myself. Throughout my life, even when I would discuss things, when I first went to therapy, I couldn't discuss what was truly going on at home because I was being told by my parents, if you speak up about these things, we will kill you. My mother came into the room. She said I should have killed you when I had the opportunity.
Okay, well, this is the first. And you would think this would have came up. Hang on. I hate saying her name. I mean, I don't hate saying her name, but I don't. I know I have slipped up and said their names before, but I try not to. Hey, little one. Child of mine. They're probably like, which one? Who's she talking about? I bet you my middle one will come. I know you can hear me. Shh. Yeah, it's my middle. She needs to come get in her bed. Okay, well then tell her she needs to come in a few minutes. I've got to get better. I don't know if it's just me. I feel like I've talked about this before. You hang on, Leticia. It's my turn. My daughter, my youngest one, she has like a taller bed in my room, and she has a twin bed in my middle child's room because they're closer to age. So I was like getting ready to transition. Like whenever we were ready, she would already have a bed in there. And of course, it was like one of like the really thick mattresses or something. So it's like a little bit higher up than a regular freaking twin mattress or any mattress. So I find myself like a couple times she'll want to sleep in there, and I'm like, just come get in your bed. And then I'm like, okay, fine, And then while she's sleeping, I'll end up picking her up. I think I let her stay in there like one night. But then I end up getting her and then putting her in the taller bed that's in my room. Because I'm like, it's like I want her to transition, but then I don't, because I don't know if I'm ready for her to go out of the room. For one, that means that she's growing up. For two, she's a knucklehead, and I don't know if I could trust her. And for three, I think of like the worst. So I'm always like, what is around the bed? Like if she was to accidentally fall off the bed, what hit? It always freaks me out. Freaks me out, man. So, sorry, that's my spill. So that's what's going on right now. I'm trying to get her to come in her bed, but she wants to stay in there with her sister. Which it's nice, it's sweet, I know, but I'm like, I don't know if I trust it. Okay, I guess we'll go back to this child. I can't believe she just said that her mom said that. If her mom said that, that's freaking horrible. But it wouldn't surprise me because that's how she talks. But at the same time, I'm surprised this is the first that we're hearing of this. You would think she would have pulled this one out a long time ago.
Yeah. Can she get in trouble for these things? No. There's nothing. And even, my psychologist, and now, he even mentioned about, well, can't you put your father away? Well, I tried when I was 18, and they refused to do any of the processing, so apparently he's just all out and about, free to survive, and that's actually finally okay with me, to the sense where when I needed assistance, he actually reached out, and he was able to offer the financial backing like he's done with my other siblings. He's never afforded for me since I was raised. Since I was kicked out of the home at 17 years old, I've not asked my father for much of anything. And he knows that, and he understands that, because I didn't want to take his dirty, filthy money. I didn't want to take, any pedophilic money in that way of like, okay, yeah, you fondled me as a child. I don't deserve money. I deserve respect. That's exactly what it is. And instead of people realizing where I'm coming from, realizing that I'm actually very, down to earth. I haven't been seeking any gains from any of this, no financial gains. I haven't sought anything. Because if I did, I would have actually proceeded in finding a way to fuck every one of you. So, and they understand that. It was Judge Ohms that was my judge for that time, so he was misinformed and misguided. He didn't know who he was dealing with, and he didn't know,
What did you say? She's not letting you lay in there?
Said no.
To what?
For no letting me in the bed.
Tell her that's your bed, and I said she needs to come in here in a couple minutes anyways. She can lay with you for a minute, she can lay on her other bed for a minute, but she needs to come in here soon. Golly. I guess the my middle child came in here and said she said she won't let me get in my bed. She's like not even in her own bed in the bedroom. She's in her sister's bed, trying to take it over.
That the Lord watches everything. The Lord sees all. and the way that you've mistreated me, and the way that you've mistreated a female, a mother that was just trying to get back to her child in any way she could because she didn't have the financial means to fight in court. So what did I do? I took voluntary parenting classes. I took voluntary anger management classes. It's all on record. Everything's on file.
For some reason, I feel like she had to take that for some reason.
I have lost 20.
Things that I deserve and belong to me, like my pets, like a home, like a nice new vehicle that's already paid for, like all these things. It would be nice to have everything that I ever wanted. And I went and I removed every single thing from the registry because I knew that these people were just manipulating me in some way, some facet. I went through one by one and removed, the purchase mark because I don't trust you. I don't trust any of you. I have no idea who you are. I have no idea. Even the judge, I placed all of my faith in you, Judge Ohms. I placed all of my fucking faith. And what did you do? You decided that the man deserved more than the woman. You decided that because I was unstable due to the fact that you shot me up, your authorities under you shot me up with so many psychiatric medications, and that's what you had on film, was a woman freaking out because you weren't listening to her.
I'm so curious what she was on. I don't know if we know that. I swear. I swear. I hate it whenever, like you have I have my younger cousin, one of them. What is she? I think she's in high school. Did she graduate yet? I don't know. But she's like, y'all know how kids are, And she's like a teen, but she's older. I want to say she's still in high school. I don't think she graduated. But she's like thick and really pretty, and she takes pictures with like, you know what I'm saying? Like with the peace sign and like her booty cheeks hanging out of her bathing suit, and just it drives me crazy because she's so pretty, and she has a nice body. And I'm like, put it away. Put it away. I don't need people looking at you like that. Like, stop degrading yourself. Okay, sorry. I just saw that. And I was like, oh.
So who's truly harassing whose communication at this point? Tell me. Who's truly harassing whom? Because all I see is that I've been trying all these years, and even my mother said, I've noticed that you have been trying, when these certain occurrences happened, you went off and you tried to better yourself. And I told her, I said, I know. That's why I know when they went into my home and they saw the copious amounts of religious memorabilia, the rosaries, the candles, and everything, that I was trying to protect myself from the authorities, from their demonic forces, because I realized I couldn't trust anybody. I placed my faith in the judicial system here in Hot Springs, Arkansas, and I was not granted any leniency whatsoever. They said, oh, we could keep her in there for a year. Do you realize the repercussions of abusing an innocent person, an innocent disabled individual, mind you, that doesn't necessarily even know what the hell is up and down at the certain instances of time, because
No, she's not. Okay, Finley. Oh my gosh. I don't know why I thought it would be a good idea to do a video at night.
She won't lay in her bed.
Huh?
She won't lay in her bed. Not this bed, the other bed.
What is she trying to lay in your bed?
Yeah.
Tell. I'm gonna have to come get her.
Of the trauma, because of the trauma that I've sustained throughout all these years and dealing with the authorities as well. I never thought that I would have to have that fear. I always just offered them the benefit of the doubt in that way, to go along with them. Whatever you say is okay. When that fellatio happened, I started losing hope and faith in humanity, because you don't go to a woman's house and persuade her into presuming that you are single, presuming that, you're going to be there to protect her, and you
Sorry.
and you were going to be there to encourage her and love her in that way. And instead, it ended up being that you took advantage of her. And then what? Did that help satisfy you for the moment? It did. But in the long run, you're going to be fucked. That's why a lot of these men try to cover up what they've been doing, these malicious things that they've done to women, and they want to still have their position. That's why when I started noticing the differences in officers as well at the Garland County Jail, I was very pleased, extremely pleased. Like, just the way that Crouch approached me at this time as opposed to how he did 2 years.
Garland, I think that's the place that, that's where I was talking to that one lady. She was in Garland. She was really nice. I liked her.
2 years ago, he understood that mental health is extremely important when it comes to being part of the criminal, judicial systems in that way. If you've been doing things that are shady or backhanded, a lot of these individuals don't realize that it is mental health issues, that they're needing therapy more than not, as opposed to these drugs, as opposed to these substances. And even though I haven't smoked in a couple of days, I had very little, and I was literally smoking ashes just now because I was trying to keep myself in my state of sober, in my state of being connected with this world. Because when I detach and I don't smoke medicinal marijuana, I will lay there for days. I won't brush my teeth. I won't be active with the world around me. I won't leave my home.
I feel like that's not a good sign. I feel like maybe you should get off of it if that's how it does you. That's just, I don't know. That's not good. I forgot what else I was going to say.
I knew. I was so agoraphobic that I didn't leave my home, and I lived there for 10 years because of all the trauma, because they didn't see it from my perspective, because nobody fought for me. Because when that divorce hearing happened and I didn't show up, that was a clear red flag that I was not being told the proper, how to fight. I was not being informed by the judicials, by, anybody.
No offense, and you shouldn't take any to this, but nobody really tells you. It's just kind of common sense. People aren't like, hey, if you're getting a divorce, this is what you need to do. It's kind of like an automatic response type thing, like, okay, well, time to lawyer up. What do I need? What do I want? What's going to happen? But apparently, her and her mom say that she was so messed up on medicine that she didn't go. But her mom went. And her mom said that she told Leticia that she didn't have to go. Or she didn't need to go or some shit. I don't know. But they were blaming the medicine. I want to know what medicine she was on and why. Because apparently she was still on it after they split up, why was she on it? If she knew that it was making her this crazy and couldn't go to court for a divorce to fight custody for her kid, or at least show up and them agree, I'm really curious what the hell it was and why in the world you would continue to take it if it was making you like that. But yeah, it's just common sense. But like I said, I mean, I'm sure she was taking medicine, I'm sure, whatever. But I still believe she was not ready for it. She was scared what was going to happen. And she thought if she didn't show up, they would have to, like, postpone it or something. She found out real quick that's not how it works.
Any of these, attorneys, there was nobody said to me as a disabled citizen to understand, why is this divorce happening? I don't get it. I didn't understand it. What do you mean? And then I didn't know she was taken from me. I had no idea that I was signing over my rights. And then all of a sudden they had a signature.
Okay, so I'm so confused. I'm so tired of her with this whole disabled crap. It's like, it's not like the Miranda rights, whenever you get a divorce, they don't have to, like, tell you everything. And how do you not know? First of all, she seemed like she was, like, it was such a surprise about the divorce, but yet she was saying how she was, treated so badly by him, so you'd think she would be happy. And I'm just so curious, how did he get her to sign? I mean, I guess she wants us to think they, like, drugged her up and had her sign it. I don't know.
Signature on that divorce decree, which, do you understand, is illegal because you used falsified documents. You used a document that was not notarized. You don't know if I signed that or not. You have hearsay because you heard from so-and-so. You said, okay, we don't want to get anybody else in trouble for forgery, so we're just going to go ahead and say that she signed this and she's clearly okay with divorcing and clearly okay. No, we didn't have counseling. You looked at him like he was the victim.
Okay, sorry, I just gotta say this. That doesn't even make any sense. I think they would rather deal with someone who forged something than deal with someone who got their child taken away from them who shouldn't have. I mean, come on now.
He left me with 2 loaded guns, knowing that I had prior suicide attempts. Who's the dangerous one truly? Who's the one that is the psychopath? Who's the one in this situation that truly wanted harm to come to the other person? Because I hit him in the head with a goddamn saucepan. Yeah, he deserved it. He shouldn't have been fucking me in my sleep. That's marital abuse. That's marital rape. So, when I tried to speak up about this stuff, nobody heard me. Nobody listened to me. Nobody believed me. Yet, it's something that goes on and on in my brain. It just revolves because nothing has been solved. Do you understand? I can't complete my puzzle without all the pieces. So I'm going insane. I'm going crazy. It's like being trapped in a psych ward out in this real world. And everybody is stealing pieces and eating them or shitting on them or fornicating with them.
What?
I don't need my pieces randomly dispersed for everyone to fucking manipulate. All right? So when I started gathering my pieces again and I started collecting myself and gathering my few belongings that I had, I still kept getting stolen from. And I thought, God, why are you doing this to me? Why? Why is this happening? Why in God's name is everyone that is demonic still able to hurt me and harm me? And I realized it was just on me. It was my own psychosis in that way to believe that these people mattered, to believe that these material belongings mattered, to believe that the finances mattered. So for a couple of years, I lived out of my vehicle. Nearly 2 years, I lived out of my vehicle. And what did I do? I didn't get in trouble. I went off to restaurants. I went to do things that I wanted to do to make myself happy for once, because I've not ever gotten that privilege in my entire life. I've never been that privileged. I've never been that prissy and posh, and I wanted to go.
I'm sorry. I don't think she understands what that definition is. Prissy and posh, because I could take myself out.
Off and do these things. I wanted to dress nicely. I wanted to be taken to dinners. I wanted to be, spoiled in that way. And I finally had a little bit of that. And then I got pregnant, and I was forced to just stop. I couldn't afford for myself. I couldn't offer my services as a companion, like a cuddler, because if it's completely platonic, I don't see the issue with it. If somebody's looking for physical contact and I have what they want, which is my body in that way.
That's disgusting. Huh?
She said her tablet fell off of her bed.
Okay, come and tell me if she falls asleep for real. She's sitting there, she's faking it. Little faker. Freaking ads.
Selling my body.
I bought the viral TikTok collagen, and oh my gosh.
It's like, this is the type of thing where it's like, it doesn't help your case, talking about being a cuddler and selling your body.
Realize I didn't fornicate with any of these men. Like, people start making stories up, and they start, swaying others to believe perceptions of me that aren't correct. I'm not that devious person or deceptive person, that everybody's trying to convey me as. I'm not. I'm actually a very sweet, kind-hearted person, and when I'm met individually, I try to see somebody as an individual as opposed to what they truly are, manipulative liars. So, I know I've met some very important people throughout my life, and they can vouch for my character. There are plenty of people that I've met throughout my travels that could vouch for my true demeanor and my character, and how poised I am at times of stress, and how articulate I've become due to the fact that I'm no longer on any psychiatric medications, due to the fact that I'm not on any pharmaceuticals aside from medicinal marijuana. So my story is actually
maybe that's what you need, though. Like, maybe you need to get off the weed. It just reminded me of that show, Mom. I used to watch that all the time. And they're like, it's not the weed. Yeah, I wish I knew what she was on before, and how it really, honestly, how it was with her. And some people do have to take medicine, so maybe she just really needs to take medicine, whatever her diagnosis is. Maybe it's something that she has to take medicine for. And that's why she's like this. It sucks because you don't want to, take medicine every day. You just want to be, naturally okay. But it's kind of like if someone has freaking high blood pressure or diabetes, they, can't really help it.
Actually a positive one in that way, where I've gathered and I've collected myself, and a lot of the things that I say are out of aggravation, because these are true thoughts that go on in other people's heads that I relay. These are true thoughts that go on in my head due to the fact that other people believe these sick, distorted, perceptions. And I just try to relay my life as best I can so people can understand that the judicials did not take proper steps into taking care of me. Instead, they threw me to the wolves by knowing that I had no home, knowing that I was a single woman, knowing, and I had warned everyone, I said, well, if I can't get housing, if you're going to give me an allotment of $475 and there are no places around here for that amount, they're all $550 or more, they told me they couldn't help me.
Oh, dang. That's pretty cheap. I don't know. You would think you would figure something out if that's what it came down to. Shit. Even if you... I know it's illegal, but even if you're like, I'll give you the rest on the side.
I freaked out. I couldn't do it. By the time I ended up out of the hospital, it was a few days after it had expired, the voucher for a housing, for the anywhere here in Hot Springs. And I asked them for an extension. They refused. They said that I had to be on the waiting list for another year. So I decided I wouldn't.
I mean, and look at there. Another year passed, and you still need it. So if you was to get on that waiting list, you could have had a home right now. But you want to throw temper tantrums like you always do, and a year has passed, and you're not on the waiting list. You don't have a home.
I wouldn't place efforts into their trash, lowly systems. I wouldn't wait for that. I demand more. I demand compensation.
And look where you're at. Literally, like, at your mom's house. Pregnant, mean, evil, nasty, bitter. Yeah.
Compensation for all the trauma and the pain and the suffering and the distorted criminal record that you have placed upon me.
Someone was making a joke. I used to joke around. I was like, I don't really drink that much, so it's like it can't be like a shot game. But it's like, oh, each time she says the word heighten, or when she says in that way, and then someone, I forgot which one it was. I forgot who it was. But whenever y'all said something about the bingo, that's such a good idea. I know y'all, you were joking around, but now I'm like, I wish I had, something in front of me, and I would be like, bingo. I wish I had, loads of money, and that could just be, our game. Whoever calls bingo first. Just put all, heighten in that way, compensation, constitutional. It's kind of like Heather. They have their own, go-to forever words.
Because that's what God says. God.
I have lost 25 pounds with you.
I've lost 97 pounds with new.
I've lost 25 pounds.
God says to speak up. God says to protect myself. And the funny thing is that's why I've been able to expose my story in such a way, in such an extravagant way as well, to be able to go to different locations, not be harassed. I've not done anything to any of those communities whatsoever, aside from offering back to them, offering back to their low lifes, the scumbags that live off the street, because that's all they treat them as, instead of recognizing that they had hardships that were so immense in their life that they couldn't gather their puzzle pieces anymore. So they had to start stealing or taking from others because they didn't have that luxury of having a home. They didn't have that luxury of having family, and they pushed all their family away because they were going through mental illness. It's all based upon that. It's not about being a criminal or doing things that are, fucked up and evil. It's about you not realizing that you need help. It's about them not realizing that you need that mental help. And I sought it. I've been seeking it since I was a child to understand the world around me, and that's why
I'm so confused. Is she talking about herself? Obviously, you have not. You have not. How come her counselor isn't, teaming up with is it a psychiatrist? They always get me confused. Or I always get them confused. Psychologists and psychiatrists. Because I know one is like a counselor and the other one will actually like prescribe you medicine and diagnose you. So I wonder why he hasn't helped with that. That's what she needs. Or she's just denying it. The way she talks, I'm sure she doesn't want to take it. Which I understand, but hopefully one day she will come to terms with, okay, if I can't change on my own, then maybe I do need to give this a chance.
I'm overly educated. That's why I know too much. That's why I didn't finish my education, because I realized financially I couldn't sustain it. So I had to back down. I had to lower my standards, which was sad for me because I wanted to go to university. I wanted to be part of that. I wanted to be part of that upper crust that was knowledgeable and had all of these ties into the different communities. I wanted to be just like the judges. I wanted to be just like everyone else in that way. The people that were higher up that knew not to demand too much of others. But some of these people in those higher positions take advantage of people like me, physically, sexually, psychologically, emotionally.
Okay. I mean, I heard enough to say, yes, people in higher up positions, some of them do take advantage of some people sometimes. But if you acknowledge that, if you are able to be aware and be like, hey, they are taking advantage of me, I am being taken advantage of. Usually, you don't let it happen because you're aware of it. So for her, it just doesn't make any sense. She doesn't make any sense. I'm not going to make any sense out of it.
Emotionally gaslighting people like me. Yeah, you can have a home if you go seek it. It's out there. I've looked for the resources. They're not out there. Not for
Oh my gosh, get a fucking job. Get a job. If you would have freaking stayed on the list, you would have this shit is so aggravating. Get on the list. Get a job. I mean, what do you think everybody else does? I mean, I have bills, I have a vehicle, I have a house, I have kids, I have a lot, so I have a job. You know, that's why I'm able to buy food and pay my rent and put gas in my truck and pay my insurance and pay for the power and the water and the cable and every freaking thing. So many bills. And then, of course, I gotta freaking get a monthly subscription for a car wash. And then Amazon. And then Amazon Prime. Amazon Kids. It's just, it doesn't stop. Just get a job. Golly. I mean, shoot, I want to buy land and build a house. What do you think I'm gonna have to do for that? I have to do something. I'm not going to wait for someone else to give it to me.
Not for anyone right now, especially during, COVID at this time. I knew it was coming. That's why I had prepared. That's why I even had so much stockpiled food in my home. That's why, even with my dogs and everything, I knew that I would have been able to maintain, because a companion animal.
We have so many teams working around the clock, 24/7, including holidays, to support making these products. We're very proud of the teams we have, and really the operator.
Oh my gosh. Oh, I can skip it. Oh, sorry.
people can afford because they understand that that companion animal is going to be with them day and night, and it's going to offer them the love that they were not allotted in life. So that's what I was doing, offering love and compassion to this local community. And what did they do? They ripped those dogs away from me. And I wasn't hurting them. They all had their shots. Even with the time where I'd gotten in trouble for the rabies, my dogs didn't leave the home aside from being with me, and I made sure that they were always sustained and taken care of. I lived in the county. It wasn't a restriction to own dogs without it. So the fact that it went to court and they charged me with not having rabies, and I immediately went out and got them all their shots. So they understand I am a proper citizen in that way, that I listen, I comply to a certain extent until I realize how irrational they're being and how much they're just pinpointing and targeting me for no reason. So I realized that. I hid for as long as I could to gather my strength. I gained all that weight. I was encompassed in this cocoon of fat because I didn't want anyone to look at me or stare at me or recognize me. And then after a while, I decided, well, that's not me. That's not something I need anymore. I don't need those comforts weighing me down. So when everything was ripped away from me, the poodles, my home, my life, the life was uprooted, and I realized I had to start a new one. There was no daughter anymore. There was no Tara Linnell Collins at 106 Douglas Drive, Hot Springs, Arkansas. There was no her. There was...
Oh my gosh, she don't care. She be doxing. Oh my gosh. She don't care. She don't care.
no one. So, and there was no Brandon Kelly Collins either. They didn't exist to me anymore. I had to realize these people didn't want me in their lives. These people don't need me in their lives. And that's fine. I don't mind that. But that doesn't mean that you didn't wrong me. That doesn't mean that you didn't steal from me in my reality. The fact that I've become a mother, I was forced to breastfeed in that way. Forced. I offered it freely because I loved her. I loved her more than life itself.
How is she gonna say forced and then I did freely? I swear. Just freaking contradiction, man.
That's why I went on this rampage of setting up videos and trying to seek her out, because that was the only thing on my mind, the only thing in my heart, because I'd already lost all my poodles. I wanted to expose what I truly am, who I truly am. A loving person that has been defiled, that has been, forced into having defamation of character due to these people that were actually the abusers, the people that were actually the violators, the ones that perpetrated assaults against me, physical assaults, sexual assaults, and yet you're listening to them.
It scared me. Oh my gosh.
I was under the guise that inevitably you would fix these things. I was under the illusion that you were going to appropriate this situation and that I wouldn't have to speak out like this anymore and I wouldn't have to preach to you, knowing...
I was gonna say, who is she talking to? Who is you? Who is you? I don't know. What are we supposed to do?
Knowing that you are an authority figure and knowing that I'm a lowly working class citizen, disabled, mind you. So I didn't expect this. I didn't presume that I had to fight for other people's rights as well. And the fact that you, in the, Supreme Court's ruled that abortion is not a viable option anymore. That's profoundly disgusting. profoundly disgusting that you would remove the opportunity for a woman's expansion. Because if she ends up becoming a mother and she's not prepared for it, if she's too young, if it's been forced upon her, like myself, this is also chronicled so people understand, hey, guess what? Since you're going to end up going crazy, you won't have the opportunity to abort your child. You will go crazy. You will try to harm yourself. You will try to harm this offspring. You will try to take things that aren't good for you. You will try to kill it. And that's normal. It's a normal feeling if you're raped, that you don't want this thing growing inside of you because you know damn well that there's no light at the end of the tunnel. Having a child and raising it on your own is not a light at the end of the tunnel for me. That was never in the fucking cards. So the fact that this child...
You don't get to pick what cards you're dealt. Like, well, how are you? This isn't a card. Yeah, I wish things were different in my life as well, but shit. Use them with what I got.
This child has to be given up. That's very nice, actually, because I don't care. Just like I said about the registry, I had removed all of those purchases because it said that they were purchased elsewhere. And I don't believe you. I don't believe that those things were purchased. I don't believe that I'll have every single thing that I need to survive for the rest of this existence. I don't trust you people anymore. I don't trust that you understand that this is $1 billion lawsuit and then some, because of the fact that I was violated in your medical systems. I was violated in the psychiatric hospitals, so that's all part of the medical. I was violated when you disregarded my actual medication, which was medicinal marijuana, knowing that that's all I truly suffer from is PTSD of the complex kind.
Bullshit.
Knowing that these things are rightfully beneficial for me, like the psilocybin, so from mushrooms, psychedelic mushrooms. So you were looking at me as though I was a criminal, when in actuality I'm a holistic healer in that way, and I healed myself, lost 155 pounds approximately, and I'd gotten down to 155 pounds, and that's when I wanted to share my story, and guess what happened? A man forced himself upon me when I was sleeping. That's what happened. So when I tried to speak up about it, you didn't want to listen. Instead, you wanted to reprimand me more harshly. Why? So I can get more money out of this in the long run? So that I can prepare for this child, so I can afford for it in every need it fucking has, and also get my daughter back? I pray to God you understand that I need my children. I pray to God you understand that it's not about the fathers, because they're lowlifes.
She has proven so much. It is so much about the supposedly fathers. If fucking Jason dude, if he was to stick around, this wouldn't have been happening.
They're scum. They are worse than the bacteria that festers in cesspools. Understand that? That's not drinking water. You need to shove these beings where they belong for a while. Maybe reprimand them. Maybe shove them in a psychiatric hospital. Maybe shove them, in jail for a while so that they can understand from my perspective how much I had to suffer for those many months in fucking jail. For what? Being wrongfully detained? Because I told everyone I didn't do it. I didn't harm anybody. I didn't do anything. What are you doing? Also, too, when I spoke up about this rape, I didn't do anything. I didn't do it. I know how innocent I am. That's why everyone saw me in there and they were like, clearly you don't belong here. Clearly there's something wrong here. And I said, yes, it's the judicials. They keep messing with me. And that's how it goes. The authorities. That's how the feds do it. That's how everyone does it, because they want to make sure that I shut my mouth. They want me to have no self-confidence and no courage to share exactly what has happened through my words, through my perspective, through my being. Yet here I am. I found an outlet. I finally found my form of therapy, which is calling everyone out on their distortions, which I've said, I don't have a doctorate yet, but I clearly am knowledgeable enough to seek it out. I'm clearly knowledgeable enough, if I were to have the time, the efforts, the, financial backing, I would have had these things already. And that's also clearly stated when I had written out these papers for my psychologist, because he wanted to know exactly what I had gone through in my life. So I placed it on here from my birth. He wanted to know my educational, what from my perspective. I did this, I accomplished this within a 4-day span, but I didn't work on it but 2 days for a few hours. Because this is all me. This is my true story. This is where I have been. This is what I have done. This is my accomplishments in life, which is not much. I know that my psychological well-being has been wavering. My stability has been wavering because nobody fucking wants to see it from my perspective. Nobody wants to see what's truly there, what is clearly there, and the abuse, everything. So that's my life right there. I did that in the span of a few hours total. I would say I didn't spend any more than 6 hours approximately on all of that. He wanted it in that format where he said that he wanted a timeline, but he wanted it horizontally. So I found a template on PowerPoint, and that's how I managed that. Because I'm resourceful, because I find the means to figure things.
I'm sorry, that's just funny. He wanted it horizontal, so I found it. Like, good job. If you're so resourceful, why can't you resource yourself a job? Why are we having these problems with you? If you're so resourceful and so heightened, so more intelligent than everybody else, but you can't figure out what you're doing wrong and what you're just not doing at all.
Figure things out when I need to, just like my family members. And that's what makes us a little bit different than some people that have been given too much in their life. When you have very little, you learn to become resourceful, just like a lot of these homeless people, just like a lot of the fact that I wanted to be homeless so that I could live that lifestyle, so I could understand how painful it is for them to have to be ostracized and persecuted.
That is not why you became homeless. What do you think that I'm going to believe this was a social experiment?
At every turn. And the authorities made sure to pound that into me, especially when I would seek out their help, and they had that refusal of help because they were told by their superiors that they could not help me in such a way because I had to manage on my own to see how things turned out. Well, I need help here and there. Sometimes I can't do it all on my own. I have to seek the community of others, to seek the, communal resources of others, like my mother. I feel terrible that, I'm even here. I feel terrible that I'm taking from her resources in order to sustain myself and this life growing inside of me. And I'm thinking, why? Why is this happening? And I understood that it was a way of me reconciling with my family. It was a way for me to understand and to share with them what my accomplishments have been. And that I will inevitably share this, and it will get beyond your corruption. I'm done. This is corrupt. This is cruel and unusual punishment to have this go on for 6 years. And then some, because I just didn't speak out prior. This is cruel and unusual punishment. This is psychological warfare, that you wanted to break me down. You wanted to inject me with certain things so that when I went to the ER that one time, because my brain was pounding, it felt like it was frying out of my fucking head. I'd love to see some people go through that and see how they maintain afterward, because I have stabilized myself even more than thereafter because of these assaults, because of these, these corrupt proceedings, these cruel and unusual punishments that shouldn't be inflicted upon anybody. You can get your answers through kindness. And I'm living proof of that. You can get your resources through kindness. You can share love with one another, and it goes a lot further. It spreads a lot further than you trying to dredge out some type of punishment. Trying to, persuade everyone to believe that punishment is the right way, when in actuality we've even understood with gentle parenting that being understanding, communicative, and open-minded is the best way. And yet you still don't comprehend that in your supreme positions, in your superior positions, in your judicial courts. You have treated me like trash. You have treated me like I'm a meth addict. And I thought, you know what, I at least had the fortitude to keep from using hard drugs. I had the fortitude in the mental stability in that way to understand that these have repercussions, all of these things, because I'm intelligent in that way. I understood if I go down that path, there's no coming back. That's a very dark, dismal path, and I didn't need that. Not for myself, not for the people attached to me, not for the family that has known me to be that prissy little, chatterbox that goes around defending herself.
Oh gosh, I gotta commentate. I thought she wasn't prissy, and I thought she didn't defend herself. I'm tired. I'm almost there. Not really. I'm like halfway there.
And defending justice and what true justice is and should be, pointing out, you shouldn't do that. Little narc over here, little stool pigeon. You shouldn't do that. I'm going to tell God. I'm going to tell God on you. I'm going to tell them exactly what you've done, the pain and suffering I've endured at your hands, at your power, at your lack of integrity, because a majority of it was them lying to me and telling me it was going to be okay. I remember that officer telling me that my teddy bear and my bunny were waiting for me. They were not. My ex-husband wanted nothing to do with me. He wanted me dead so he could fornicate with someone else, so that he could falsify another marriage like that, so that he could just have another marriage, so that he could have financial backing, because I wasn't offering the financial backing that he deserved and requested in life, because he's a user. Because when he went and started living with me, he had no job. He had no education. He had nothing. He had a suitcase. And I helped him to gather as much as he could and to put him on his feet. And then he turned around and he stabbed me in the back numerous times. His family stabbed me in the back and physically assaulted me, and they were never held, they were never placed in cuffs for it. They got away with murder. They got away with forcing someone to want to commit suicide because of their actions, because of their violence, because of their lies and manipulation. So, unfortunately, this is my story. That's why I share it, because I know there are so many people out there that like a true story, that enjoy hearing about the hardships others endure and how they manage to sustain themselves and to, climb above it, to,
Come on.
it's really difficult for me to want to convey this shit over and over again, because people know who I am. Just do your jobs. Do them correctly. I don't even want to go to court in a couple weeks, because I know that you're going to be frowning upon me for stupid things. Stupid things that you know nothing about, that you're going to claim because of my criminal background, my criminal record, that's who I am. Because of my psychological records as well, because people tampering with my records, because people forcing up.
Oh my gosh, tampering with the records. She must be getting nervous, because before she was all I don't want to go on Zoom. I'm going to go in there and I want to let them see me how I am and what they did to me, blah, blah, blah. She's getting nervous. Alright. I'm at a pretty good, it's like almost, I did a little more than half. I need to go to sleep. So I won't upload the first part tonight. I'll wait until tomorrow. I'll finish it and then I'll upload them so it's not sitting there waiting. So I'll be back tomorrow. Tomorrow's Friday. Yay!